attitude and behavior of the staff. Creating consistent guest-centric interactions. We already mentioned something about consistency. You guys have to be consistent. We cannot be top waiter 3 hours, and when it's time to bring the bill, we just tired or angry or whatever it is, hungry, and we just disappear and we don't bring the bill for 15 minutes. Or we bring the bill and then we disappear. The guy's waiting with a credit card 15 minutes. And everything goes down the sewage. All the performance for the last 3 hours that you've given to this fine dining guest, everything just disappears. So consistency it matters. And on the back of your head, you gotta always keep in mind that we have to, every interaction has to be guest-centric. That means that whatever I do right now, on the back of my head, I'm thinking that the guests are watching, and that will add all this, subtract from their great experience in the restaurant. I'm talking to my colleagues, I talk in a way that's not going to be intrusive to the guests or upsetting to the guests. So every single thing, every single move, every single mimic I do on the floor, it's got to be guest centric. You got to understand that the guests are watching you. All right. So guests are watching all the time in fine dining. Fine dining is not a fast-paced restaurant where everybody comes, they eat quickly and leaves. No. They come, they sit, they talk, they watch, and they observe you, your performance, how you talk, how you move, how you do your service skills, everything. So we have to act accordingly. Emotional regulation. All right. Our job is very stressful. Emotions run high sometimes, especially in rush hours. We have to be able to regulate our emotions. Professionalism across emotions. We are professionals. We are working as waiters, waitresses in a top establishment. That means we are professional waiters. And professionalism, it has to be on top of anything else. We're going to talk about it. Consistency and guest-centric approach. Like I said, whatever you do while you're in the restaurant has to be guest-centric. Those people are watching, and I'm here for them to provide excellent service so they have great experience. And I don't want to do anything that will, bring the mood down, upset the guests or whatever. That's what means consistency in guest-centric approach. Turning challenges into opportunity. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow. And we're going to discuss that as well. All right, guys. We already said guests observing every single move you make. And that's why we have to be performing at the highest level of service constantly. Now, I always say that we are actors. We are actors. We are on stage. Once the guests sit in the tables and we are on the floor, we are performers. And we have to give our best performance because we have no second chance. Those actors in the movies, if they made a mistake, the director will say, cut, second take, and they will do it again. We have no second take. We have no script. We have to improvise. So, yes, this makes our job not easy. It's a hard job. But keeping in your mind that you're there to provide really exceptional service to your guests and just bring joy into their evening, and that will help you be aware all the time that whatever you do, the guest observing you, and you have to keep, a positive behavior, and you have to be professional. Emotional regulation. Like we said, our job is very stressful, and we are going to lose our cool once in a while. But we have to learn ways to control our emotions. All right? Now, how do we control emotions? There are some techniques that we implement in our job, and one of them is, for example, deep breathing. You take a second and you just deep breathe through your nose, exhale very slowly and long through your mouth. Do this a couple of times, and that helps the brain get back in control and start thinking clearly. All right? You need a couple of minutes break. Tell your colleague that they can watch your table for a minute, and you will be back. Just go back to the kitchen in the back and take again deep breathing. Talk yourself positive. Whatever you do, you're gonna find those ways. We're gonna talk about them, but you definitely need to calm down, poise yourself again, and go back on the floor and keep working. And that's what emotional regulation means. It's a level of self-control. All right. It's not easy, especially when you're young. It's very hard, but we need to control those emotions because when you're tired, when you're sad, angry, or even when you're overjoyed, this shows on your face and your performance, and we should not allow that. We should not allow that because everything we do, we already discussed, is observed by the guests and affect their evening, their enjoyment. Now, what professionalism across emotions means. Every time you got a hard time, you have to remind yourself that you're a professional. And what it means that you are a professional, it means exactly that. You have to uphold the standards of the restaurant. There are standards, and we live by those standards. And no matter what emotions are, bursting inside of you, you have to still uphold the standards. And you have to remind yourself that you're a professional. And that's gotta be on top of everything else. You are a professional. You don't want to let your team down. You're not gonna let any emotion destroy your legacy, destroy your name, because that's what happened. You let emotions, go, and you start acting emotionally. You're not a professional no more. People are watching. The guests are watching. The management is watching. Your coworkers are watching. The kitchen staff is watching. And that's how you lose your respect. So remind yourself. Consistency in Guest-Centric approach. I talk about this a lot. We already mentioned it like 3-4 times, but it is important because we always get some kind of argument, some kind of mistake from our colleague. You gotta understand that whatever the mistake is, it has to be solved after the dinner or in the back of the house, not in front of the guest. Because even if you go to a guest, to the colleague that made a mistake and you just say something or make a face, the guests are watching. And even if this guest is the one that was wrong by your colleague, and you go there and you start berating them, the guest's not going to enjoy their evening more unless they have something wrong in their head. All right? It's much better if you go and in a very nice and polite and professional way explain to the colleague what was the mistake and let's take care of that and move on, and then at the end of the evening, you can go with whatever, if they deserve something to be written up, or whatever you need to do, and after the service, you can go ahead and do it, but not in front of the guest. In front of the guest, we have to be aware that every arm move, every mimic on your face, every expression on your face, every move on your eyes is observed, and affects the experience of the guest. Turning challenges into opportunities. In general, in life, every challenge, every problem is an opportunity to learn and grow. So keep that in mind next time you have a tough time in the restaurant, because you will survive. Whatever it is, you will survive. It will be taken care of. If it's a problem, we will find a solution. No matter how bad it is, the situation at this moment, and you have to know that it's gonna be okay. We'll find a solution. If you're gonna survive, you will move on, and you can learn from this experience, and you can grow, and you can become better. So take those challenges with a smile, with a welcome demeanor, with a positive attitude. Tell yourself, man, that was a nice lesson I learned. I will never do this again. If it was a mistake that you did, and move on. But it's a good thing to keep that in mind, all right? Because every challenge and every problem has a solution. It's gonna pass, you will survive, you will learn, and you will get better. Keep that in mind, guys. So, let's go with the procedures of dealing with these stressful situations. How we turn those challenges into opportunities, and how we, control our emotions. Like I said, mindful breathing is probably the best and fastest way to calm down. It's scientifically proven that it calms the brain immediately. Once you can take control of your breathing, it calms the nervous system, and it helps you start thinking clearly, and you'll be able to get back to your job. So, deep breathing through your nose, slow exhaling through your mouth. Do this few times, and your brain will calm, and your nervous system will calm down, and you will be able to get back to work. Another tactic, positive self-talk. All right? Talk to yourself. I'm a professional. I'm part of this team. I'm not going to let nobody down. I'm not going to let myself down. I'm not going to let my name be tarnished because of these emotions, that's burning me down. I have values. I have integrity. Those are more important than this temporary thing that's just destroying me. All right? Focus on the guest. Keep telling yourself that for you, the guests are more important. They are the most important person in the restaurant, and you are there for them, and you will do anything, even, overcoming these emotions, and keep serving them. Empathy and perspective. It's so much easier when you have perspective and you show empathy. Like when the wrong emotions come from the guest, they wronged you, blame you for something that it's not your fault. It's so much easier to overcome this emotion when you have perspective, and empathy for this guest. Maybe something was wrong with them today. Maybe something went wrong with the accommodations, or whatever it was the case. Maybe they're just going through a hard times, whatever it is. but put yourself in the position of the guest and show some empathy, and that's going to help you tremendously overcome this negative emotion. Take a short break. We already talked about it. Tell your colleague, hey, I'm sorry, I need 2 minutes break. Can you please watch my tables? Or your manager, and then you just go to the back of the kitchen. Deep breathe, whatever you do, punch something, not something, not somebody, all right? And just calm yourself down, and then come back on the floor and keep working. Use humor. It's tremendously helpful. If you can turn this terrible situation into a funny situation by implementing humor, all right? The only thing is, it's essential to ensure that this humor is in a good taste and doesn't undermine the professionalism of the situation. All right, if you are joking with the guest, make sure that this is appropriate. Seek support from colleagues. Now, that's why we are a team. That's why I said working as a team is crucial to the performance of any one single person on the floor. We support each other, we help each other, we give a lift to each other. And in hard situations, there is nothing more natural just to turn to your colleague and ask for support for anything, no matter what it is. And we as colleagues, we have to be ready always to give encouragement, to give help, to give uplifting, whatever it is needed to a colleague that is going through a hard time. All right, guys. So next time somebody comes for and asking for help, make sure that you don't turn a deaf ear. You give this, of course, if you can. Now, if you are in the deep with your own station and you're having terrible time and you cannot just leave your station and go help anybody else, all right? But if you have the time, if you have a minute, if you have the energy and the the positive emotion going through your body, you gotta give a little bit to your struggling colleague, all right? Or if not, just call manager and hopefully the manager will be able to do that.